You tell me when we're good.
Oh, we're good.
We're
Welcome,
good?
foolish mortals. This is the Outside Infinity Show, episode number 2. Last episode happened to be 9 months ago. As you can probably tell, it takes 9 months to actually put on one of these shows. So
We're
happy
baby.
to have episode 2 out there for you.
Because unlike the inside...
Hey, I'm talking. I'm Haunted Mansion Steve, and I'm the alter ego of Pirate Steven. Speaking of egos, we have Steven Crellin.
And I'm the same all the time. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to this year's Outside Infinity broadcast, where we take this matter very seriously, and we don't screw around. So thank you for joining. We have 2 other really special guests to join us tonight, both of which I'm very excited for. In the left corner, from Palm Beach, Florida, new timer, Conrad, my teammate, my compadre, my number 1 fan. Conrad, tell everybody who you are.
Hey, I'm Conrad. I'm just been a huge fan from the very beginning. Though I don't have a Team Steve shirt, but I did decide to wear my DuckTales shirt, which I figured it kind of came close.
I like it. And then, in the other corner...
Hey.
Can you hear me? There we
Oh,
go.
yeah.
All right.
Hey, everybody. I am the bad gamer. However, when I'm on Outside Infinity, I am the awesome gamer. Absolutely.
And for this show, we're going to go over a couple of things. We have our own sort of format like we did before. It's going to be open forum. We have a pretty open thing, but, you know, Steve, correct me if I'm wrong. One of the things we've learned from, Will's show is that hydration is very key to any podcast. And I think that we're all amply ready to be hydrated, right?
Yeah, I mean, you watch the Inside Infinity show, and apparently it's either really hot where Will is. I mean, Colorado seems like a really warm state, but you have to drink a lot of fluid. So I think we're all got our buckets of water ready to drink during the show as we watch watch Will do it.
Don't mind us if we're drinking massive amounts of water during the show, because Will has taught us to hydrate throughout the show.
Stay hydrated, don't die.
That's right. Always stay hydrated. See, Will, we learned from Will.
Subliminal messages are good, too.
Yes. All right, so Steve, how do we start this off? Do you want to go through some listener mail? Because whether or not they like to admit it, we do have fans and listener mail.
Yes.
Well, yeah, Lam, the awesome gamer, I believe has some mail that's come into the Inside Infinity show about us.
Yeah,
So.
it was so hard to choose which one to read. I mean, we get so much, and I don't want to offend anybody, but we love you all. This one really caught my eye. It says, Dear Outside Infinity, thank you for putting so much time and effort into a great presentation, which is the pinnacle of all Disney Infinity shows. The diversity of hosts and guests has thrilled me to no end. It doesn't hurt that all of you are easy on the eyes either. I do have a question about the future of Disney movies. When are they going to do a movie about you guys? I mean, it's bound to be a box office hit. The suaveness of Pirate Steve, the wittiness of Steve C, the lovable, bad, awesome gamer, and the Conrad. Oh my. It would be an instant classic. At least a set of all of you in DI would be great. What are your thoughts? Outside is in, Mathilda Hopkirk.
Wow. You want to go first, Crellin?
All right, yeah, you know what? I like the idea. And honestly, a full-length motion picture film based on this show would be great. I think that there's a built-in target audience to this because we have such a fantastic show every 9 months. New additions like Conrad and Lem are always welcome, and they're going to bring in the sex appeal and the humor crowd. So I think that it's built in. But let's just start at the core basics. We should have townspeople. Right, Steve?
Absolutely.
I
mean, that's a start.
Yeah, you were so close. I remember last year you were, well, this fall, you were pretty close to having your own, but I think that the group of us needs to have our own.
I would love to see it. It'd be great. But hopefully they won't torture us in that toy box.
I think it should be an unkickable thing for us.
Yeah, because I don't know about you guys, but I spend most of my time with the townspeople picking them up and finding ways to throw them off cliffs and watch little parachutes go off.
Yeah, hopefully we don't get drop kicked or anything like that.
That is absolutely my favorite part of any townsperson is seeing the parachutes after you kick them off of a cliff.
You do realize I'm going to have to make a townsperson canon type thing now.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. You know, that's a really good point. Do you think that, now, let's just spitball here. Do you think that the four of us have the material to come up with our own play set?
You know, I think that if the play set is all about, you know, running away from the massive crazed fans, but finding the fans that really are, you know, helpful and want to make our help us with our show, finding them, keeping in mind that the crazed fans, you can turn them into helpful fans somehow. I think we could easily do a toy box game with a dungeon crawler that way.
That sounds good. Personally, I would think that a Pirate Steve character would be great because imagine the costume change discs that you could throw down.
Oh my god!
Spidey Captain, you know, Spidey Pirate. You could do. What are some of our other favorite ones?
Donald Duck hat for Mr. That I wore when I was making fun of Jason. I mean, the Woody hat.
Gaston.
We got it all.
Gaston Steve.
Yeah, the Gaston.
Oh, Gaston Steve.
You
Oh,
could have a series, a binder, a Toys R Us exclusive binder of just your costume changes, and I would be in. I would buy all of them.
I hope they listen to this show. I mean, it's gonna happen.
Apparently they don't because up in the Nordic country of Saskatchewan or wherever the hell Lloyd lives, they still don't have binders for him. He's been looking for one since 2003, and they still don't. He asks for them every show, so apparently they don't listen to the show, or at least they don't want to recognize Canada. And
well, no, they're making them. They are making them.
I can agree with their point of view.
I hear that they're making them mainly out of maple syrup, so it's not able to have a consistency.
Yeah, and you know that they're not going to hold up. Running next to a PS4 for hours, the stability is going to fall apart. It's not going to work.
Exactly.
Absolutely. Bad idea. Well, I have a listener email. Do you want me to read it to you?
Oh, please.
Mine is short, and mine was based off of the last show that I went and did, and that was a few weeks ago. And it was, Dear Outside Infinity, paid attention mostly to Steve C. Thank you for finally telling the truth on the Inside Infinity show. And at this point, I didn't know what the email was about. It said, we have known for a long time that the moose industry is failing here in Canada and that people rely too heavily on them to get around in the snow-barren country that Lloyd lives in. We have also seen a decline in the dog sled industry, and all of these issues you brought up on your last show, we don't feel like you get enough airtime. Lloyd gets too much airtime. And that is all I have to say. Thank you for being a great part of the show, and we look forward to Outside Infinity 2 coming out next year. So, I mean, once again, that was less jokey, more serious, and hitting on the important parts of the moose and dog sled industry in Canada, mostly surrounded by everything that Lloyd has to do. So I'm glad that they pointed out the hard political facts, but the fact remains that I'm glad I'm here, even though I'm only on once in a while, and Lloyd is overtaking the Inside Infinity show. So.
It's all facts here on the Outside Infinity show. That was good.
Is it called Inside Infinity anymore? It's not. It's called Disney Infinity TV, right?
No, that's the whole network, but the actual podcast itself is Inside.
Okay. Well, then they wrote it correctly. Then Lloyd is taking over. I feel like Lloyd is like a fungus. Like he has grown into the hard wiring of the system, and he can't be pulled out. He's like a virus. So I think we need to do what we can to eradicate him from the system.
Oh, I don't know when
That's a fair assessment.
be on that show, though. So, yeah. So is that all the viewer mail? Do we have any more? That was it.
That's all. That's all I pulled. I didn't. If we read more than one, then everybody else
Yeah, we
wants
don't have to look
theirs.
full of ourselves or anything.
Yeah.
Well, if you have any more viewer mail, you can always send it to Disney Infinity TV or find us on Twitter and let us know what you think of the show. If you want to see more shows, if you want them to be more often than every 9 months, we'd like to hear it. And let us know if you think Outside is better than Inside. So we have a good show for you today. We're going to talk about our main topic is, so it seems like a good part of Disney Infinity and their marketing is to produce figures and content based on currently what they're trying to market and what's out there. So, for example, when Frozen came out, the characters were right there with the two toy box pack. Big Hero 6 just came out, and the characters were there. The Lone Ranger is another example. Guardians of the Galaxy. So this made us want to look at the next 2 years of the movies that Disney, Pixar, Marvel, Star Wars are coming out with. Maybe some speculate and guess on what we would like to see in Infinity 3.0, 4.0, and beyond. So we're just going to ramble down the list and let everyone take a turn and say what they want to say on the different movies. So I guess the next movie that's coming out from Disney is Into the Woods. It's that movie with Johnny Depp as the wolf. And it seems to be a whole bunch of fairy tales, but I don't think Disney Infinity is included in any of that in this.
No.
No,
This is
which
the
is
one with Meryl Streep, right?
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a real shame too. It is a fantastic musical. It's been one of my personal favorite, like years and years and years. It's great mixing of fairy tales. It's got a lot of great characters. The witch is fantastic, and you got costume changes built straight into it because she starts out old and she ends up beautiful. And so there's sorry, spoiler cast. Are we on the wrong show?
Okay, it's okay. If they haven't seen the musical, go watch it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic musical. So there's a great number of things you can do there. The wolf would be fun. Johnny Depp, of course. We just need a third Johnny Depp figure in Infinity. I mean, you can't. I mean, why stop there? Let's figure out more and more and more that we can get of him in there. Yeah.
Yeah.
3 is
And
the magic number.
Yep. I think we'll touch on that later. I think in the next 2 years we have the potential of 4 Johnny Depp characters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I don't really know that much about it. I just know that everyone says it's a great musical, and I don't really know much about it. And as far as being a part of the game, obviously I don't really get how it works. I've seen the trailers, and I'll be seeing it when it comes out. It's a Christmas Day release, right?
Yeah.
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 So I other than that, my knowledge of it is fairly limited. So.
Who knows? And this is something I thought they had originally talked about was when the movie would come out on Blu-ray or DVD, that they would have some kind of like power disc that you can get a special edition. So they might touch on that movie later on if it's a big success. So that's the next release. After that, in March of 2015, is the Cinderella live action. So that's coming out pretty soon as well.
To me, that's around the same thing as Maleficent, right? You have the same time period, same live action based off of a cartoon kind of thing. So it could have the same implications that Maleficent has on 2.0, right? You could just be looking at a solo character.
Yeah, and they can really. So it seems like a pattern that Disney's starting to do is to do some live action films of some of their popular animated films they've done. So Cinderella's the latest version that they're doing, and they could come out with a classic Cinderella or a regular. We don't really have anything from Cinderella except for I think like the Sky Dome, not actual disc, but like the Sky and the carriage that everybody likes to put monster wheels on. So yeah, Cinderella would definitely get more girls into the game.
And now the interior as well, though. We have Cinderella.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I'm a townsperson, so.
Well,
And
Let me
also, in front of Cinderella is supposed to be another Frozen short.
Yeah. Oh man, I saw that news this week. That's a big deal.
Yeah, so that who knows? They could introduce more characters from Frozen in that, and they could get into Infinity somehow.
And Steve, you know what that means. I'm going to need to get another Elsa shirt.
Oh, you love Elsa shirts.
Did you see the one on T Fury this week? I was waiting for you to say something, but you didn't. I almost bought another one, but I didn't.
The Snowman one.
Yeah, the Snowman one was awesome. So, you know, looking over the list over the next 2 years, and you guys all got the list, right, of movies that comes out in the next 2 years. Looking at the list, do you guys have any ones that specifically you have an emotional attachment to that you desperately want to see? Let's take Star Wars out of it because, like we've said before, we've done a whole Star Wars show.
Right.
And I can't fathom the idea of doing anything outside of that, right? Is there anything else on this list that you have like a deep desire to see?
Absolutely.
All right, go for it, Lem. What do you think?
Captain America: Civil War.
All right, what do you got?
Oh my gosh! Now I haven't looked into the synopsis because I'm a little bit of a comic book purist, but I forgive Marvel because they have so many different universes and blah blah blah. But Captain America: Civil War is the story of two sides of the Marvel universe, bad guys and good guys with opposing views. So you have bad guys that have the same view as some good guys because they're trying to make every super person register and give up all their rights and their secret identities and such like that. And it's huge. I mean, I don't see how they can do it justice with the characters they own. But I'm so excited to see how they do it.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's not about can they do it. I want to know how they're going to do it because every single Marvel movie that Disney has touched, I have loved. So, I just wish that they would get their hands on Deadpool.
I'm not sure if you saw it. I'm not sure if you saw it today, but there was a leak about Spider-Man having a potential crossover, that's where I want to see that. I want to see it in Civil War because he played such a essential role of unmasking and showing himself and that idea of him having a central part. The one thing that I'm not sure of is they've got to introduce some new faces from the superhero worlds into that movie because what I don't want is another Captain America, another version of Iron Man. I don't want multiple versions of the same character.
I like that.
I want to see something different. And from what I've read of the Civil War in the comics, a lot of the main players are the main players we already have in DI. So hopefully they will take some of the side characters and we'll actually see those be brought into Disney Infinity with it.
All right, well then, for Conrad and Lem, let me ask you this because this is kind of important. Right now we do have a lot of those critical characters already in the game, but those are based off of the cartoon and comic book versions. We're talking about Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans characters, and they look different. They have different voices and different attitudes. Are you going to want to see a specific version of this game based off of the film or based off of the comic book cartoon lore that we already have in place today?
Well, we've already had a video game based off of Civil War. So I'm okay with the based off the comic book versions of Civil War. I'm sorry. So I would not mind the current movie versions just to give a different flair.
Okay. All right. Well, that's a really big one. I think as far as Marvel films go, that's got to be one of the most important ones because, let's be honest, based on what we know about that changes the whole Marvel world, right? I mean, Steve, you get this whole thing. If this goes down the way it goes, this changes the way everybody sees everything. I mean, Robert Downey Jr., in theory, could not be a relevant part of Marvel in the future. So, I don't know. It's fascinating.
Yeah, one character they could possibly add, and I like the thought where they have all these Marvel movies coming out, and we have 20-something Marvel characters, I think, now. And I like in every .0 edition we get, just sprinkling a couple of Marvel characters in there, and new ones we don't have. This for Civil War they could add Black Panther, even though he's getting his own movie. I'm sure he's going to be in that one. So although they might hold off for it to release him for his own movie, but if there's an Ant-Man movie coming out this summer, I know he's got his own little team-up power disc, but as we know with Yondu, that's not going to stop them from people wanting to get a figure in there. And these figures are great marketing. I mean, I remember when I saw Guardians of the Galaxy with my son, as soon as we got out of the movie, he's like, buy me the toys. So at that point, Guardians of the Galaxy playset and the toys weren't available, so we had to go to the Lego store.
Yep.
And buy the Guardians Legos. But I mean, I would love to see Disney Infinity sell something at the movie theaters as you're walking out. Maybe you want to buy an Ant-Man figure as you're walking out the. But I think it's a great strategy. I mean, people want to play these. As soon as we saw the Big Hero 6 week, those are the characters they wanted immediately to play with.
Do you know what would be a really interesting idea? Is you know how sometimes you do the midnight premieres, and if you go do like a midnight premiere of like an IMAX one, you get like a poster. When we went and saw the early screening of Guardians, we all got pins. What if then they had the ability to sell some of the Infinity characters right there? Because just like you, we went crazy trying to find toys, and the Legos were all sold out, and it's hilarious that you brought up the Legos, because literally right before I walked up here, I was building our second set, you know, the little, the ships, the yellow and blue ships, and we were just building that downstairs, and it's taken us this long, but what if they have them there? Like, it doesn't have to be for the length of the film. Selling merchandise in the movie theater is going to be weird, because an AMC is going to want a part of the profits and all this other stuff, but what if it was an exclusive thing, like opening night, everyone gets, you know, an ability, or, you know, they get a discounted price or something like that. I like that idea, though. Walking out with a Rocket character. If we walked out, or with another group of people that didn't know what Infinity was, and they got a Rocket or a Groot character, you know the chances of them ponying up and buying the game, it's going to be huge. You know,
here's another example. What if, so I get these emails all the time from AMC, and it's usually the second or third week after the movies come out when you've already seen it. Like, go see this movie this weekend and you get a pin. Well, what if it was like, okay, go see Tomorrowland in theaters this weekend and you get the Tomorrowland Skydome?
Yeah, perfect idea. And
people are like, what is this plastic thing? And they're going to go buy the game to test out to get Tomorrowland in their
Absolutely. And that's an even better idea, because a character's a $15 character. There's some monetary loss of giving away a ton of characters. But a disc, it's not as much for the company to lose. And really, if they gave everybody a power disc that night that was a texture of, like you said that, or like one of the ones I want to bring up earlier is an Inside Out disc. Dude, I'm telling you, people that colored disc, people are going to go buy the game because they got that. It takes them getting a $3 piece of plastic to go out there and buy the $70 game. I straight up promise you that they'll do it.
Yeah, it's brilliant marketing, I think. I always thought there was gonna be the day where I was combing through the cereal aisle to find a power disc cereal Disney Infinity with little marshmallow power disc or the marshmallow base, Disney Infinity base in there, and I pull it out to get a exclusive power disc.
Now with 10% more sparks.
I like it. Absolutely. And let's be for real. How many people are going crazy over an exclusive Sorcerer Mickey from D23, like our friend Will? If you had one that was, you only gave them out the first night, like the 7, 9, 10, and midnight showings of Inside Out, or like you just mentioned, Tomorrowland, which is one, there would be people clamoring for those things all over the place. I think it would be a really big deal, and it would be easy marketing to get people sucked in. I think it would be great. So,
yes, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say that's an awesome idea, and it kind of segues into a bunch of the other movies that we've had, because we sort of touched on like 5 of them. Conrad, what do you have? Do you have one this next 2 years that you're specifically looking forward to?
I don't think I have that email from you, but I will say one of the things that Well, no, that's no problem. One of the things I'm kind of excited about, or something I would love for them to do as far as a villain is concerned, is Ultron. Like with the Age of Ultron that they're doing, and just how crazy awesome that trailer was. I'm gonna be honest, like I knew nothing of Marvel before they announced Disney Infinity. Um, I literally started going, why are they putting Marvel in this game? And I started looking into it, and I read all like as many of the comics as I can, and I started getting like everything that I could learn about, and so like now I'm just the idea of an Ultron figure, and just and I want it to play that Pinocchio music in the background. I want that creepy Pinocchio.
Oh, that was so creepy.
You put him on and it starts playing that no got no strings on me on that. I mean, just how awesome would that be? And hopefully would be able to then add Quicksilver and
Scarlet Witch.
Scarlet Witch, yes, Scarlet
Yep.
Witch. I think if they could add those 3 figures in there, yeah, that would just get me really excited because this game has got me really excited about Marvel in general, and just I want to continue that excitement from everything that's going on.
Quick question, guys. I don't know if you guys know this at all, but you just mentioned, Conrad, Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch. Quicksilver was in the X-Men movies. They called him Peter, not Pietro. Are they calling him Pietro in
Ultron?
Yeah, because if they're calling him Peter, does that mean that now they have access to some of the X-Men stuff?
That's a really interesting point.
Because Scarlet Witch, I mean, originally, and Quicksilver originally in Magneto's Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Yeah, I think from what I understand, they fall in like this weird crossover, like because they're Avengers, so they kind of fall in that, but they're also from the X-Men universe because they're Magneto's kids, and so
because they haven't been featured in a 20th Century Fox film before, like with that same name. I think that's what you're saying, right, Len? Because it's the name. It's that little weird marketing sort of tool. Yeah. And I think that's the thing that's going to hold them back on a lot of stuff. Now, when it comes to Disney Infinity, they have a lot of that except for the X-Men stuff. They haven't done any of that yet. But like you see, in Infinity you can do Spider-Man, but we will not be getting a Spider-Man film crossover in these ones unless Sony and Disney come to some crazy agreement. And as much as I would like to see it, I seriously doubt that's going to happen because I think Sony, the only thing they hang on is the Spider-Man films and the PlayStation. They're not really the company that they were before. So unless they are seriously scratching for some money, I don't think that we're going to see it. But the game is different, so that's a good point. If you're looking at the Infinity game, you could see that. I don't know.
I mean, because there have been, like, Avengers from way back. I mean, hold on, I'm gonna go into history a second here. People that have been Avengers. We've got Thor, Iron Man, Ant-Man, Hulk, Wasp, Giant Man, Captain America, Hawkeye, Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, Black Panther, Hercules, Beast. That's where I wanted to get to. Beast from X-Men. Yondu was actually a Avenger at one point.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I mean this is back. This is a 1982 version, but I mean you got all these guys that were.
Well, that's where the whole thing is fascinating to me, is because Disney owns Marvel. They can do pretty much whatever they want, and they did a Spider-Man playset, but Disney can't make a Spider-Man film because Sony has the film rights. Just like X-Men, the film rights are owned by 20th Century Fox, and it's a weird thing, and I feel like 20th Century Fox would be more apt to meeting in the middle and for the greater good, I guess you could say, but the game is different, so
right.
That's an interesting thing. Looking at all these lists over the next 2 years, we're talking a lot of superhero stuff going on here, and I'm going to straight up tell you I'm looking forward to a series that I think would be amazing films, but even better in Infinity. And Steve touched on one already, kind of stole it for me. Is my number one anticipated film of next year is Tomorrowland. Brad Bird is next to Spielberg, my favorite living director. I think that he can't do anything wrong. The cast is amazing. That teaser trailer is unbelievable. A Tomorrowland integrated into the game would be awesome, but we don't really know enough about it. We don't really know enough to say what the gameplay would be. We've seen a quick snippet of what the world looks like, and at this point it looks beautiful and amazing, and that's where, like he said, a sky would be really great. But I don't know enough about it to have a strong opinion, so I'm going to make an easy one here, and I'm going to say Inside Out by Pixar is the next big one I think that we have potential for. We know characters, we know voices, we know that the Pixar ones were a huge hit in Disney Infinity 1.0. Just imagine a sky dome and a texture disc of the inside of that girl's mind. And I mean, you could see out, you could see all the things that would kind of look like the inside the mask. What's it called, Steve, the disc right now for Iron Man? Yeah, it's called...
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I mean, to me, it would seem like a perfect fit, and all the different little characters have such distinct colors and attitudes and motions and stuff. I think that doing a figure and disc terrain for Inside Out would be spectacular. But I can't tell if I'd be more excited about that or a full-on size dinosaur from The Good Dinosaur, which is Pixar's next film. And I think a walking around character that you put down that would be a dinosaur would be spectacular. I don't know how they would make the fighting mechanics work at all, but it would be very unique on the play set. It would be very unique on the toy shelf that I have with all the other ones. And I think that it could be an adorable character to have on there. So I'm looking forward to those, as well as Finding Dory next year. And Steve, we've talked about this before. I still think that a Finding Dory playset built on a 3D sort of world where up and down is the same, and you steer and you swim up and down. I think that that has massive, massive potential, and it might be something that would be good to look at for the next series. But I think a whole playset behind Finding Dory is much, much deserved, just like I think that it should have been there for Finding Nemo.
Yeah, that's how you would get water into the game, I think. I think that if you did a Finding Dory playset, that's their way of getting water in there. Plain and simple.
Yep. And that's something that people have been talking about since we've been doing this show. I mean, how many times have we had people ask about water and how to make it work better and all that stuff? So I completely agree, and I think it would be great.
Yeah, so that movie doesn't come out till summer of 16, so that would put it in DI 4.0 if that is going to happen. Getting water in the game, I guess.
Yep.
I'm surprised you didn't mention Alice in Wonderland. That's, you mentioned Alice in Wonderland on every other show.
Okay.
But Tim Burton's getting a sequel. That's going to come out in May of 2016. So we could see Alice, we could see Johnny Depp as the Mad Hatter or the regular Mad Hatter. Who knows?
Let me ask you guys
The problem
this.
with that is...
Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead, Conrad.
my problem with that, and this is me personally, is as much as I love that the first movie, and I'm sure I'm going to love the next one, is that when it comes to Alice in Wonderland, I really want the classic characters. Like, that to me will always trump the live action. Like, you know, Maleficent, I want the Sleeping Beauty version of her. I mean, I liked the other movie, but I wanted the original cartoon version of her. You know, and I don't want the live action version of Alice. I want the Alice that I knew as a kid, and I'm sure, you know, my kids are going to know because they're going to watch the cartoons probably more so than watching the live action movie.
100%, and that's why I didn't bring it up. Steve, thank you, because I want little Alice with the blue dress and the cute little black shoes and the choker and the blonde hair and her cute little voice and all that stuff. That's the Alice that I think that we all deserve. And no offense to what's her name that plays it, or even Johnny Depp, who's on my top 10 favorite actors of all time. I don't want any of that inside this game. I don't want any of it from the first one. I enjoyed the film. I thought it was fun, but it doesn't scream out Disney to me. It seems too Tim Burton-y, and it doesn't really make sense. And not in a Tim Burton-y good way. not in a Nightmare Before Christmas way. Just to me, it doesn't mesh well. I don't, like Conrad said, I don't want the live action Maleficent. I want the other Maleficent. And unfortunately, you're going to get a lot of that. You're missing out on the young people seeing the movie today. It made $40 million the first weekend, but I think that the first one, the real Alice, is what I want. So that's why I didn't mention it, Steve.
Well, I mean, so there's another movie coming out, another live-action movie called The Jungle Book, and that comes out next year in October. So that could be a way to get Baloo into the game, or King Louie, or any of the classics, because I really don't see them doing a real bear Baloo.
No, like a lifelike bear, like a scary lifelike bear.
I would boycott. I would totally boycott that character. Bears are one of my.
I mean, you have to buy it because it's funny and ridiculous, but again, you have to have them all. But I mean, yeah, I think that's their chance of getting Baloo into the.
Yep, I like it. I like that idea a lot. So, Steve, what about you? If you had one of these ones to pick out and it was going to be all about you, which one are you choosing?
I would choose the same thing Conrad did with Ultron. I think he is going to be a really cool dude in that. That's my most anticipated movie for 2015. Is the Age of Ultron. I plan on seeing it midnight shows, and I don't do many midnight shows. But I think he's going to be a really fun character to play with if they choose to put him in the game. He'll be very popular. He'll have some really ridiculous, cool moves, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Ultron.
Yeah, and his voiceover in the film is fantastic. And if they get it anything like that, it would be amazing to drop him down and hear what he says. I think that'd be great.
Yeah, and I really think we watch the Avengers show that comes on Saturday mornings, and it seems like this season is heading like towards the end of the season is going to be when Ultron shows up in the cartoon. It just has that little feel because they show Tony Stark playing around with this little robot almost every episode.
Really? Do they?
Oh.
Yeah, and you have that. Who knows? He could turn that thing into Ultron. So that's a way. A way they could. I mean, if it goes that way, the cartoon could help Infinity sells Ultron figures. The movie. I mean, it's very good. Disney has this marketing all over the place, helping sell these things. Not that they need help with it, but.
And that's the route they're going with the live action too. Is Tony Stark creating Ultron rather than Hank Pym? So.
Okay, that's what I was just checking out. I was like, didn't Hank Pym create Ultron? But yeah, okay.
Yeah. Hank Pym's the original creator, but they're just not. They're not really moving in that direction in the cinematic universe. There's a lot of things that I've just like kind of realized that okay, that's a different universe, and I have to be okay with it.
That's how I treat the X-Men movies.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that none of us brought up Ant-Man, and it could be because we already have a team-up disc for him, and it could just be that I don't really know enough about the character or what he's going to have to do with Ultron or any of these other ones, but actually you probably have nothing to do with Ultron, but his own movie comes out, because after that, that's our next big one, and I don't really know what to do from there and how impactful that's going to be, but do you guys have any opinions? Do you think that in the Marvel world, Ant-Man would make a compelling character? Is there enough of the other follow-up characters to play with him in the set?
The team-up disc is a lot of fun. I mean, him shrinking himself and growing. I mean, I think he'd be a popular in-game character if they come out with him as a full release character.
They'd have to bring Wasp in as a playable character too, though.
Yeah, Wasp is one, but we don't have her as a playable one yet, but she's in the game, so.
Yeah, and I kind of like if Wasp was a team-up disc, if that's a way they have to get her in there. But I always thought we'd get Disney team-up disc as well, like a Mushu, like kind of like in Kingdom Hearts, where they have like a Mushu or a Dumbo or somebody else to fly in there and help. I think Disney team-up disc would be very popular in Power Disc.
Oh yeah.
There's so much. There's so much you can do with that. I heard someone talk about like the nephews having them come out and fight for you. So you have like 3 of them running around. I mean, yeah, it's
That'd be great.
there's so much to tap into in Disney. I'm surprised that they didn't do that because, I mean, a lot of characters that are, I don't want to say subpar, but they're kind of they're lower level characters in story and in fame, but they would make great teams.
You can say it. They're C-list.
C-list characters, yeah.
And you know what?
Not Steve C-list, but
no,
Steve
I like it. Thank you for clarifying. I'm gonna pull a Jason here, and Conrad, like you said, Steve, how long ago did we say that would be a good character? And his ultimate weapon, if you had Scrooge, that the nephews would come out and they would fight around there. We've said that on a couple of them, but I remember for sure we said that probably a year ago. It's a good idea, which is why Conrad's an integral part of the show. Thank you, Conrad.
Well, I've often said that I'm looking forward to Disney Infinity 4.0 Disney Afternoon Edition. So that's what I'm.
Yeah, that's where you got to go
after
Star Wars Edition. It has to be Disney Afternoon Edition.
Yeah, and there's where you get your Baloo and your King Louie. And then you get Kit who can sky and his little sky. Yeah, exactly.
The Rescue Rangers. I mean, I want a Darkwing Duck is definitely on the top of my list.
Oh yeah.
And Darkwing Duck is a huge one. We'll talk about Darkwing Duck all the time.
Yeah, he's already got 2 powers.
I don't want those C-list ones, the ones that were like the movie cartoons, like the Timon and Pumbaa or the Ariel, life before she became the princess stuff. I want the good classic stuff, DuckTales, Darkwing, Bonkers, all of those things in the game right there. That's the stuff that I want. That will get me.
Oh, what was the guy's name? The superhero, he had the crazy hair, something Oid. Not Berserkoid.
I don't know, but I'm sure that Pirate Steve will find a way to prove to you that he's not a villain, he's really a good guy.
Oh, no, he's a good guy. He's a superhero.
Oh, okay, well then I was right in the first place.
Yeah, Pirate Steve doesn't want Darkwing Duck,
Freakazoid.
He wants Bushroot.
Bushroot. I mean, yeah. Anything Disney Afternoon would be great. The gummy berry juice as a power disc or something. Bounce around.
I just want to see Iron Man bouncing up and down. Or the Hulk.
Well, I think we could skip Wuzzles. Wuzzles wasn't so popular, but yeah, anything from that era would be excellent.
Well, I think that this is a good list, and if they're listening, I think they have some ideas in mind. We didn't also mention Doctor Strange, but you see, the second year, all of those ones would be in Disney Infinity 4.0 if they were going to do it. So, real quickly, let's just say, if they were going to do a Star Wars, as the next one, and we just read an article on the news that said if they're going to do any, Steve, you probably know more about this. What's it called? What am I kidding? I know more about this than all of you. If they were going to be putting Star Wars stuff in the parks, then they're going to be doing it based on the new films, not the old films. It's a story that's been floating around all week. Do you think that Disney Infinity 3.0, if it came out the same time frame as last time, which would be 5 months before Star Wars The Force Awakens comes out, do you think we're actually going to get it like that, or do you think we're going to have to wait until 5.0 to get it? Because do you think they're going to do a retroactive one? Where it's, the other Star Wars films we've seen? Do you think they're going to do it based off of the massively successful cartoons on TV, like the Clone Wars and the one that we watch right now, which I forget, what's called Rebels? Or do you think they're going to do it early and get some ideas of what The Force Awakens is going to be, and they're going to do it off of there? I mean, you're talking it's before the actual film comes out. Are they going to do it about the film, or are they going to do it about all the other franchises that they have now?
I think they're going to tap into what they're producing now. I think that's definitely going to be part of it. But if you can follow Disney's trend, my guess is they are going to try to tap with the original three because everyone loves Darth Vader and everyone likes Luke Skywalker and Han Solo.
Right.
My guess is like just kind of for those of you who are Vinylmation collectors, they're going to ignore episodes 1 through 3 for as long as possible. They're probably going to say, yeah, those existed, but they might throw in a Darth Maul just so they have the double lightsaber guy. But I think that they're gonna avoid those earlier things, and then they're gonna tap into they're gonna use the originals that everyone loves, and then they're going to probably they might use Clone Wars, they might use Rebels. I think Rebels is more likely because they shut down Clone Wars so that they could start really kind of focusing in on Rebels and
Right.
this new timeline and storyline. And then there's no way that they're not going to do the movie coming out in December. There's not. I mean, they did Frozen, they did Big Hero 6. They're gonna do the new. But I think that if they come out with just new characters and they don't hit home with the originals, even kids. I mean, my two boys, they're like, oh, Darth Vader, oh, R2-D2, everything that is in my house, they point at and they see, and that's what they know. They don't know whatever is coming out.
Soccer ball droid.
Even little kids want those original Star Wars figures, and I think that it would be a huge miss, a swing and a miss if they ignored those.
Okay, so let me say this real quick. Steve, we've talked about this. We did a whole show about it earlier this spring. Here's my problem, though, and we don't have to talk about this for a long time, but if we're talking about movies coming out in the next 2 years, we cannot avoid the elephant in the room, and that is Star Wars. If this game comes out in September, like it did, or August, September, right, like what they like to do, you're talking it significantly before, which means they are designing and getting the finishing touches of the game. You're talking in the next few months, right? They have to have it pretty much wrapped up and a good idea of what they're doing, and it's in full production. Do you think that the people at Disney Infinity and Avalanche and stuff have the access to get to the J.J. Abrams Star Wars film enough so to make well-designed play sets or even a whole 3.0 Star Wars edition? Because if you're going to have Star Wars as the platform, just like Marvel is for this one, and say you have 3 basic sets, just like we do here, say you have, like a Rebels or whatever, you've got the originals, episodes 4, 5, and 6, and then you have one off of The Force Awakens. Do you think that they have enough material to go off of, being that we just got the teaser trailer, like 88 seconds of teaser trailer last month? Like, do you think that they have the access enough? Steve,
yeah, I would think so, because Studio Gobo, probably said it wrong, but they saw Guardians of the Galaxy way before everybody else, and they were with the people, the filmmakers, working on that playset for the longest time. So they definitely have access to all the key players there.
Okay, so in your sort of expert, educated opinion, you could absolutely come out with Disney Infinity 3.0 Star Wars edition, and they would have enough to do a Force Awakens.
Yeah, I would definitely make it a. You brought up some great points. I would definitely make that a Phase 2 release. I mean, make it like maybe Black Friday release of all Star Wars Force Awakens, all of those characters, a Christmas release. I mean, everybody would want that for Christmas.
Yeah, that's why I think that we have sort of a weird year this year. Last year it was spread out a little bit more. I mean, we had the Toy Story one didn't come out right at the beginning. We had to wait a little while for it and stuff like that. So you don't have to do it in the first 3 months. I actually like the idea of making the game more relevant by releasing a playset in January or February. Give the film a month. Give the film a week of being in there and have a playset come out, like you said, in December, or even make it a January release. It's going to be such a humongous movie. I guarantee you that shows are still going to be showing the film in January. Why not make it relevant and have it a January 15th release? That way everybody's got it, and you can see where it's going. I'm really curious because I know how long it takes to design these beautiful games, and I'm wondering what the background is like. Do they actually get early access? But it doesn't have to come out right away at the beginning. I like the idea of it coming out slightly later.
Yeah, and people are so obsessed with not knowing anything about the movies before they see it. They're not going to want a playset to come out 6 months before they're going to see it. Like I'm just thinking it right now. I probably won't play that playset until Christmas or whenever the movie comes out, if it does come out far in advance of the movie.
I've just now gotten to Spider-Man, and I haven't even touched Guardians yet, just because I don't have a whole lot of time to do that. I would love to see the thing spread out, and just like you said, people are going to be pining for that stuff when it comes out. We talked a little bit about it earlier, but I went and saw Big Hero 6, and the next thing I did was say, okay, I need to go to Target and buy Baymax and Hero. And people are going to go see that movie and be like, okay, now I need to go buy that playset right now. And so they're going to leave the theater and want that.
Yeah, and hopefully they are ready for that demand, because I know people were having trouble finding Baymax and Hero when the movie came out. It was a couple of weeks there, a little scarcity there to find those. So hopefully they're prepared for. I mean, they got to be prepared for Star Wars.
Yeah. Yep, I agree. But you know what? This goes back to my core sort of, if you say it, my issue with the game is I feel like this year they blew everybody away with the first month of the release. And then, seriously, from here on out, all I really have to look forward to are a few sort of scattered characters and a couple of those toy box discs. And other than that, my March through the next release is going to be dull, just like it was last time. And I think that the idea of them spreading it out a little bit, and in this case, waiting until January and blowing us all away with the Force Awakens playset and Christmas Day release or January something is great. It's going to keep us playing the game longer into the year and keeping it more relevant instead of turning it off and playing. What are the two games that Will likes to name drop every
Destiny
episode?
And Titanfall.
Yeah, those ones.
Although I'll admit I'm a Destiny guy.
Yeah, well, so is Will. Apparently, he says it every single show. So keep the game more relevant. Keep releasing stuff, stage it out. I like that idea, and I think it keeps up demand.
Well, the one thing though that I gotta say is,
and it keeps.
I wouldn't say ignore episode 1 through 3. As we talked about earlier, punting townspeople is really fun. Punting little Annie. Hunting Jar Jar.
If you can make a Jar Jar bullseye, I will be extremely happy. I'll shoot that thing all day long.
A trigger point? A Jar Jar trigger point? I like that.
Yeah, just shoot it as much as possible.
You know what, though? I will say I would do almost anything to have a pod racer in the game. I think it would be fantastic.
Yeah, I was just going to say I think I'm looking forward to the Star Wars Power Disc more than anything. Yep. There's so many vehicles. I mean, Princess Leia costume change. I mean, you name it. There's so many great opportunities out there for Star Wars Power Disc. That I would love. I don't know if they're going to be doing blind packs then or what, but I'm still looking forward to Star Wars.
And I'm also crossing my fingers that if they are doing it, then they're doing something awesome, like how we have the valuable base that as big as a bedroom. That is the Millennium Falcon, where you can put the characters on the top or something like that. I'm hoping for something more than just the standard flat thing. I want something different. I want either another collector's edition. I want something that looks Millennium Falcon-y. Give me something. That's what I want to see.
Okay.
I say somebody having a party.
Conrad?
Yeah, well, apparently I was in this place that was supposedly 24 hours, but apparently it's not 24 hours.
Oh my God!
I will try to walk outside. Just give me a little. See if I can still tap onto.
Only on the Outside Infinity show.
Yes.
Do our hosts get kicked out of establishments for being this die hard?
Yes. Well, maybe if
It's so awesome.
Someday I might have internet that works, and then I can do it on my own.
Oh, that's
This
awesome.
is great. I love this moment. You're outside right now, aren't you?
Oh yeah, outside.
This is awesome.
Try to keep entertaining and fun, though. I am about to cover up. This T-shirt's not going to cut it. This is sort of cold here.
Okay, you got to tell me, what is the temperature where you are right now?
Oh gosh, I don't know. It's probably not even that cold, but it's freezing for a Floridian. I'll tell you that much. I used to live in Ohio, and it was like, oh yeah, Floridians are wusses. Now I live here. I've lived here again for a couple years, and it's I can't.
Is it over 30 degrees?
Ducktail shirt while people can see it.
Probably. It's probably over 30 degrees. It's probably in the 40s is my guess, but I probably don't know.
Basically, it's barbecue weather in Wisconsin.
Yeah. When I was in Ohio, this is where I would usually come out in shorts and a t-shirt and flip-flops, and now it's 52 degrees, and I'm like, oh, where are all my layers? Give me gloves and jackets and parkas, please. So
I have to say, my favorite moment of today's show is definitely right in the middle of us talking about Star Wars. You hear in the background the lady going, "You know, we're closing. You're gonna have to leave." Oh, that's awesome.
I apologize. Even said there's.
No, it's the equivalent of Jason's kids walking through the door.
It's way better. Hey, the next show, just do it from the play place, okay, where all the kids are running around.
Oh yeah, there we go. That'll be appropriate.
Steve, do you think we should start wrapping it up? Then you got anything else?
No, we covered all the movies. The only thing we didn't really mention, which can be a quick mention, is Agent Carter, the television show, is starting up. That could be a power disc, just like the Lola was, so they could find something to market Agent Carter for as well.
Yeah, I want to see more Agent of Shields in general, like that universe as well, because I really like that show. So a Coulson, more than just a townsperson. I want a Coulson.
Oh, definitely.
I want an Agent May.
He could definitely.
Hey, Steve, you'll appreciate this probably. I'm sitting here at my desk right now, and I just realized I have this many Disney photo passes that I haven't gone through. Dude, I have so many photo passes. Do you see this? This is like.
Well, now now they just put them on the Magic Band. Did they not do that while you were here?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I can't do that at mine. They don't do that, so I have to
make it up for me.
That's a lot of photo passes.
You're making up for me, Crellin. I don't have any.
I'll send you some of mine, and you can see pictures of us posing in front of Lightning McQueen for the 90 billionth time. So, all right. Well, I think we should wrap it up. We've been on for about an hour. I think that we should definitely keep this core group between us, and we should do this in more frequent bursts than 9-month periods of time. If Will allows us to take up his airwaves doing this again. See, we could sway him to a quarterly show, right?
Oh, I think we definitely can. I definitely think if people are watching this show, just email us or comment and let us know you want the show to. We thrive on the fans out there letting us know they want to see more of us talking about all this useless information because we're good at it.
I want someone out there to tweet Lloyd and just say that we're a better show. Just say less Lloyd. No one can say Canadian. There's someone out there tweet or Facebook Lloyd and do it, and it's not part of this show. I want to hear it really bad. I'm really in the anti-Lloyd camp now. It's fun. So
on that note, I don't know when your next Infinity episode is going to be, but hopefully Lloyd's on it with you.
Number one, I don't think it's anytime soon. And number two, I really hope that I'm not, because I don't know what I'll say. The banter will be weird.
All right. Well, I think that's gonna be our show. Thanks. Thank you, Conrad and Lem for being on. And definitely you're part of the crew now. So you have to think of your nicknames. We know Awesome Gamer, Conrad. You need to come up with something.
Yeah.
Getting thrown out of establishments. That's good enough to be a part of the crew.
I try.
All right, Crellin, why don't you close the show?
Steve.
Where do we find you, Conrad? Can they harass you on Twitter and ask for more Conrad too?
Yeah, I'm Infinity Conrad with a K, not a C. Infinity Conrad on Twitter.
Do you play online? Can people add you on a thing and play with you online ever?
No. Simply because.
That's right.
Because I have to be at McDonald's to get my internet. So
you are recording from a McDonald's. What am I talking about? Yeah.
Yeah, the internet is so poor. Otherwise, I would say yes because I like playing the game, but I have no one else to really play with. So.
I want to see the show where you bring a small monitor, your PlayStation, and plug it all into a booth, and then we do a broadcast while you play at McDonald's. I want to see that show.
I can make that happen.
Conrad, you are now that guy on the morning shows that they send out to do everything.
Absolutely, that's you. That's you. And by the way, I was just laughing earlier when you said it's in the 40s. Lloyd just rolled over in his igloo, going, 40 degrees? My dog sled doesn't even work at 40 degrees. All right.
It's Floridian and cold.
No. Well, Lem and Lloyd, thanks for coming on last minute. This was a blast. Steve, thanks for setting it up. Why don't you close it out, dude? It's you. You're the ringleader here tonight.
All right, well, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. Hopefully it won't be 9 months. Maybe we'll see if we can do something monthly, maybe, if we can bring all the forces together. But it was fun. Catch you on the outside. Is that a good catchphrase?
I like that. Say it with more gusto. That's it now.
Catch you on the outside. The possibilities are infinite. We'll talk soon. Bye.